Okay, good afternoon, students. I'm Arinda Bag here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, let me adjust these things. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about the story which is prescribed in our syllabus, especially mentioned in book 4. And in our syllabus, it is mentioned as the story of Pyramus and Thisbe. So basically, it's a romantic story, tragic romantic stories. Basically, usual setting we are having here that Pyramus and Thisbe, they love each other, and they have some differences within their family, and their family do not like each other. They are hostile to each other. But Pyramus and Thisbe, they are very much you know fond of each other. Instead of this hostility, still they are having their warmth in the relationship. Now let us see what is the story about. So Pyramus and Thisbe is the loveliest youth, and she is the most sought after girl. The east held lived in neighboring houses in the towering city of Babylon and Semiramis. So there the place is referring to Babylon, and it is said that their house is actually divided with the help of a brick wall. They are known to each other from their first childhood, and with the time it appears they realize that they love each other. They agreed to swear the marriage oath as well, but their parents prevented it. Usual love story setting, nothing different here. They were both on fire with hearts equally captivated, something no parent can prevent. They had no one to confide all this to. Nods and signs were their speech, and the more they kept the fire hidden, the more it burned. The situation is their family doesn't allow them to meet each other. So they used to. So the questions must be there that how they were communicating with each other. Now they were communicating with each other with various kinds of signs, and various kinds of body language was involved in it. When two peoples love each other, and if they find that they are unable to um, communicate with each other without hurting each other, or without if they want to keep the communication discreet, they find their way out. If you are in love, if you love someone, and definitely if the relation is mutual, then no matter what kind of hostility is there, they will always find a way out to connect each other, isn't it? It is the truth of life. But if you hate each other, no matter how close you are, you will not find any way to communicate the other. But in this case we have love, so definitely they knew very well how to communicate with each other without disclosing it. So they used nods and signs as their speech, and the more they kept the fire hidden, the more it burned. So it is like fire. Love is also like a fire. If it is suppressed, it will grow bigger and bigger in time. The same thing happened with Pyramus and Thisbe also. So there was a fissure, a thin split in the shared wall between their houses, which traced back to when it was built. So with this, so many things are negative in their life, but one thing was positive. The wall which was dividing their families, or which was dividing their respective houses, the common wall, it has a fissure. It has a crack in between, and it was so thin that nobody would realize that there is a crack, but there was a crack. We may say it is metaphorical. It is their love for each other which finds a thin gap within the vast wall. So it can be a metaphorical comparison also. So there was a crack, as it is said, and it was there from the very moment when it was built. No one had discovered the flaw in all those years. Nobody found it, that there was a crack in the wall. So lover, they detected it. Your lover saw it fast and made it a path of your voice. Your endearments passed the way in the safety, in the gentlest murmurs. Often when they were in place, Thisbe here and Pyramus there, and they had each caught the sound of the other's breath, they said, unfriendly world, why do you hinder lovers? How hard would it be for you to let our whole bodies meet? Or if that is too much perhaps, to open to the kisses we give each other. Not that we are not grateful. We confess that we owe it to you that words are allowed to pass to loving ears. So they talked hopelessly, sitting opposite, saying as night fell farewell, each touching the wall with kisses that could not reach the other side. So eventually it is found or it is realized that they are unhappy with the world because it is dividing or it is creating hindrances between the two characters. But on the other hand, they are also describing, they are thanking the world because it is allowing the words to pass. They want to hug each other, they want to stay close to each other. That's why the world is not allowing it. So that's why they describe the world as unfriendly world, and they are questioning why you are hindering two lovers, and why you are not allowing the whole bodies to meet, or why you are not allowing to kiss each other. But still they are grateful that at least the world is allowing the words to passes and they can express themselves to their loving ears. So the thing was going on like this. One morning, when Aurora had quenched the fires of night, the sun's rays that thawed the frosty grass, they came to their usual places. That means the wall. They stand on both sides of the wall, and they used to, talk in this fashion. They decided first, with a little murmur of their great sorrows, to try. They were unhappy because they can't see each other. They can only hear the voices of their lovers from either side of the wall. To try in the silence of night to deceive the guards and vanish outside. They were planning for something big. Please excuse me for any background noise. I told you earlier I'm staying home, so I'm not in a studio. Obviously, you will find noises related to my household. So they were planning to deceive the guards and vanish outside. That means now they are desperate. They spend so much time there, and they wish to meet each other right now. So they were looking forward to deceive the guards and go outside and meet each other in person. Once out of the house, they would leave the city as well, and they agreed in case they went astray crossing the open country to meet the grave of Ninus and held in the shelter of a tree. There was a tall mulberry tree there, dense with white berries. Now, please note the color of the berries are mentioned over here as white. You will see that the color of the berries will change later on because of some incident. I will get to you. I will come to that one also. Bordering a cool fountain, they were satisfied with their plan, and the light, slow to lose its strength, was drowned in the waters, and out of the same waters the night emerged. So they were planning something. The plan is they will meet each other. Lovers usually do this, isn't it? They always try to meet each other, and they have a solid plan for that. They always try to deceive the society. They always try to deceive their family, and they try to meet in seclusion. So that's what they do. Here also we find a reference of a particular tall mulberry tree where this is like a landmark where they can meet with each other. So night came, line number 93 to 127. So till this we have completed the line from 55 to 92 has been covered. Now we are moving to line number 93 to 127. Now carefully opening the door, Thisbe slipped out, deceiving her people. So Thisbe was successful in her plan and came to the tomb, her face veiled, her face was covered, seated under the tree, and which they decided were the meeting point actually. Love made her brave. Yeah, obviously love made people brave. But a lioness fresh from the kill, her jaws foaming, smeared with the blood of cattle, came to slake her thrust at the nearby spring. So there was a water fountain there, and there was a lioness who just killed some cattle, and fresh blood was on her mouth, and she was desperately looking for some place to drink water. And Thisbe saw this. The moment she saw this, she was afraid that there is a lioness. Everybody will be scared of. In the moonlight, Babylonian Thisbe sees her some way off and flees her in fear to a dark cave. As she flees, she leaves behind her fallen veil. I told you earlier her face was covered in veil. She left behind that veil. The fierce lioness has drunk deeply, returning towards the street. Suddenly, it found that particular veil without the owner. So, and the lioness ripped it with its blood-stained jaws. That means the lioness ripped it off, and the cloth, the veil, was stained with blood. Leaving the city a little later, Pyramus. Pyramus was bit late. He was, they didn't start at a time. At first, Thisbe was out there, then Pyramus was going after her. Sees the creature's track in the thick dust and his face drained of color. When he also discovers the veil stained with blood, he cries. So Pyramus found that blood-stained veil, and he even found the pug marks of the lioness. So he was afraid, and he was quite sure that it must be Thisbe. Thisbe was supposed to be there. So Thisbe is not there. Thisbe's veil is there, blood-stained veil is there. That must be. He was sure that anyone could be, be afraid about that. The little cloth, the little veil, it was ripped off and it was blood-stained. So Pyramus considered that Thisbe has been killed. Thisbe has been killed by the lioness. So he was lamenting, two lovers will be lost in one night. She was the more deserving a long life. I am guilty spirit, I have killed you, poor girl. Who told you to come by night to place filled with danger and did not reach it first? Oh, all you lions that live amongst these rocks, tear my body to pieces and devour my sinful flesh in your fierce jaws, though it is cowardly to ask for death. Now, Pyramus was feeling guilty because it was his plan that we will meet at that certain place, and he didn't consider about the safety of that place, and he didn't even reach fast before he was supposed to reach there before Thisbe. He didn't, so he was guilty of that, and so he picks up Thisbe's veil and carries it with him to the shadow of the tree they had chosen. Kissing the token and waiting it with tears, he cries, "Now be soaked in my blood too." So he was planning that as I am responsible for our death, so it is my responsibility, or I must be punished. So I will soak this veil with my blood too. Having spoken, he drove the sword he had been wearing into his side, and dying, pulling it out, one from the wound. As he lay back again on the ground, the blood spurted out like a pipe, fracturing at a weak spot in the lid and sending long bursts of water hissing through the split. Cutting through the air, beat by beat, sprinkled with blood, the tree's fruit turned a deep blackish red. I told you earlier the fruit was white earlier. Now, because of the blood of Pyramus, he killed himself. The blood was splurting out, and blood was everywhere. So it was just under that mulberry trees. So the fruit turned in a deep blackish red. The roots soaked through also imbued the same overhanging mulberries with the dark purplish color. That means the blood of Pyramus changed the color of the berries. Now, from line number 128 to 166, we find that now Thisbe returns. She was afraid. Still, she was afraid that the lion must be, the lioness must be close by. So she recognized the place and the shape of the familiar tree. The color of the berries puzzles her. She was amazed to see that the tree which had white berries earlier, now the color of the berries has changed. She was puzzled. She waits there, perhaps this is it. Maybe she was like, maybe I have seen wrong. She was hesitating, and suddenly she saw something, and she found that when a moment staying longer, she recognizes her lover. She found the dead body of Pyramus. She cries out loud with grief, striking at her innocent arms and tearing off her hair. She was mourning. She was in shock. Cradling the beloved body, she bathes his wounds with tears, mingling her their drops with blood. Planting kisses on his cold face, she cries out, "Pyramus, what misfortune has brought me of you? Pyramus, answer me." She was crying desperately. She was in shock, in pain. Your dearest Thisbe calls to you, obey me, lift your fallen head. At Thisbe's name, Pyramus raised his eyes, darkening with death, and having looked at her, buried them again in darkness. So, for the last time, Pyramus opened his eye, but after that, he passed away. She recognized her well and realized that it was because of that well there was a misunderstanding, and that's why Pyramus killed himself out of guilt. So Thisbe also recognized, or rather, she also considered it is my guilt. I left this well here, and we met here, and finally Pyramus is killed. So she was asking, it will give me strength in my misfortune. I will follow you to destruction, and they will say, I was most pitiful friend and companion to you. He who could only be removed from me by death. Their love was so strong, they believed that only love will be able to separate them. No, sorry, only death will be able to separate them. But she considered that even death will also, death cannot separate us. So death cannot remove. Nevertheless, I ask this for both of us in uttering these words. Oh, our poor parents. He was addressing to their parents, mine and his, both of the parents. Do not deny us the right to be laid in one stone. And she was crying that we would like to have our bodies buried side by side in a single tomb. And we, whom sudden love and the strangest hour have joined, and you, the tree, and the now covers the one poor body with your branches, soon will cover too, retain the emblems of our death, and always carry your fruit dark in mourning and remembering of the blood of us both. So she was addressing to the mulberry tree also that you will remember the sacrifices, the love which he had, and you will see, you observe this tragic thing in front of your eyes, and I hope your fruits, or you will bear the remembrance of our blood. Saying this, she placing the point under her heart, she fell toward on the blade. She used the same sword which killed Pyramus. So she placed the sword onto her heart, and she fell on it, still warm with his blood. Then her prayer moved the gods and stirred the parents' feelings, for the color of the berry is blackish red. So seeing all these things, the white berry, which used to be white earlier, right now it transformed into blackish red. So when fully ripened, and what was left from the funeral pyres rest in a single urn, and their funeral pyres also kept in a single urn. So that's the story of Pyramus and Thisbe. It was quite tragic. It's a romantic story, obviously, but a tragic one. Both of the young lovers, they were killed. They passed away, died due to some misunderstanding. Because of the hostility of their family, they were unable to meet each other. So finally, when they meet somewhere, there was a misunderstanding. Pyramus thought Thisbe was killed by a lion. So feeling guilty, he killed himself, and so does Thisbe also. When she finds that her lover is dead, she also considers herself to be guilty. So she addressed the gods and the parents of both of their parents, and said that they wish to they wish to keep their graves close to each other in a single tomb. And she also addressed the mulberry trees that you please remember this. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe my channel.